Today, I ranked every single movie I have ever watched. There's 315 of them. There's a whole bunch of different genres that are there. I've done a lot of research in the past couple of days. I've gone on IMDb Top 1000, Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Peacock. I've gone on everything, Crackle, believe it or not, if anybody knows what that is. But we're going to be ranking every single movie that I'm know for certain I've watched and remember. And it might take a while, but that's okay. And keep in mind, this is my list. It's my personal opinion. There's a couple hot takes, I'm not gonna lie. But, just keep in mind, it's more about the personal enjoyment of the movie. I'm not a film critic, I'm not looking too deep into a lot of these films. So take it with a grain of salt where I put them on the ranking. And also keep in mind that a lot of these places could be switched. So let's just get into the first one. At 315, we have Fred 3. This I don't even know why I watch this movie, but it's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. It in my opinion is the worst movie I've ever seen. I mean, it does have John Cena in it. So there's a little plus, but yeah, this movie's pretty bad. Okay. Number 314. We have the 10 Commandments from 2007. I am almost certain that nobody knows what this movie is, but I watched it in school. I went to a private school. I watched it in school. I hated it. I hated it. The animation is terrible. It's just it's just a bad movie. All right. 313. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Not only do I think that this is a bad movie, I think it's blasphemous to the franchise. I think it ruins the entire story of Anakin and Darth Vader. I I can't defend it in any way. I think it just completely undermines the previous movies, and just for that I have to put it extremely low on the list. I had it at last for a while, but I mean, in terms of like just production, it's okay. So I can't really like knock it down at the lowest, but I mean it's still bottom three. 312. Got Barbie. Not a lot to comment on this one. I just know I watched it, so it's at 312. At 311, we have Fred 2. Yes, I've seen Fred 2 as well, and I've also seen I've seen the whole trilogy. I got the whole trilogy under my belt, unfortunately. Um, this one was a little better than the third one. Still terrible. They're all bad. I'm not gonna lie. And the thing is I don't even know why I watched these because I never really watched Fred, but that's okay. They're going low on the list. Oh God, here we go. Okay, Harry and the Hendersons at 310. Not a lot to say about this movie. It's pretty old. I watched it when I was pretty young. But I remember really not liking it even when I was a kid. So it's pretty bad. 309. Joe Dirt. Um, this movie was the one that was on Crackle. If anybody knows what that is, if anybody knows what this movie is, you know, there's a little charm to it, but I can't justify it being any higher than this. It's like I just can't. I can't do it. 308. Trolls. This movie is annoying. I hate the characters. I think it's just a bad movie. It's a bad kids movie, and it's just a bad movie to watch as an adult, which is just it's double combo. It's bad. It's a bad movie. I think that they're just annoying, and that's why I never watched. I think they made like a sequel and stuff, but never got around to watching those. Fortunately. Number 307, we got Pee Wee's Big Holiday, Netflix original. Um, yeah, this one I also don't really know why I watched it. There's a lot of movies that I don't really know why I watched, but this one just not good. He's very annoying, and it's just kind of an annoying movie. I did like the first one better though, from the 80s. If anybody knows the series, there's two of them. This is the sequel. Moving on, we have the first Fred movie at 306. This one is easily the best one. And that's not really that hard to do, to be honest. You could probably just film paint drying and it'll be higher, but you know, Got to give a little credit, I guess. So we got that at 306. With 305, this is one of the most recent movies I've watched on this list, Despicable Me 4. I've watched all the Despicable Me's, all the Minions. Yes, I am a man-child. But this one was a hard watch. I'm not going to lie. This one was hard for me to get through. I struggled greatly getting through this one. I had to like power through it to finish it. So it's very bad. It's my least favorite Despicable Me by far. All right, 304, we got the Emoji Movie. This one, when it came out, this is just a famous bad movie, bro. Everybody knows the year that this came out, it's just the worst movie. It just goes right in that place. 303, we got Marmaduke, Talking Dog, Owen Wilson. Watched this when I was a kid too. It's just bad. It's not very good. Not a lot to say about that one. Home. That guy right there. If he's purple or pink, I can't really tell. He's annoying. I don't like him. They need to erase this movie because I really don't like it. And the reason it's higher is just because it's it has a little decent story, I guess. I mean, I tried to. It's hard on these lower ones to get a good rating, but these could all be switched around. Arthur Christmas, very forgettable. It's very boring. That's almost just as bad as being a terrible movie. I'm not gonna lie. Number 300, we have Rio. I love this movie as a kid. I rewatched it. It's a hard watch. It's a hard watch. I'm not gonna lie. This one really really disappointed me because I remember liking this one, but on rewatch, no bueno, no bueno. All right, 299. This is the bottom Ice Age movie, Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs. This one, I think the characters. It starts to get boring by this point in the franchise. I honestly don't think they needed to make 3 movies. I think they could have kept it at 2 or even 1, and I think it would have worked out perfectly fine. You could say that a lot about it. You could say that about a lot of franchises, though. So take it with a grain of salt. You know, it got boring. It's going to end up low. Number 298, Starsky and Hutch. Now, I do know that some people either really like this movie or really don't like it. There is a chance I watched this at a bad time and I might like it now. I don't think I will because I remember a decent amount from it. It's not very good. It's not very good. I'm not gonna lie. It's not that funny to me. It's not that funny to me, and that's the thing with these comedy movies that they're so subjective. So I'm gonna have some comedy movies in the top 50 that are probably gonna be hot takes. I don't know, but that's just how comedy movies are. Chicken Little, another annoying animated film. I'm noticing that's a lot of these bottom ones. I didn't really notice that when I was putting together the list, but he's just annoying. Number 296, we have Bridesmaids. Now, this one was very controversial with the people I talked to about this list. They did not like this placement. They wanted it much higher. I thought this movie was terrible. I did not like this movie. I thought it was bad. I just thought it was bad. So, I thought there was maybe one funny scene, maybe, but besides that, it's not my kind of movie. It's not my kind of movie. 295, Home Alone 3. Um, this is the last Home Alone I watched. Obviously, it's not the same kid. It's not the same kid. It's not the same vibe. It's not as good as the originals. That's just how it works. Santa Claus 3 at 294. I also watched. If I have sequels in this, then most likely I watched the previous ones and like the whole franchise. So I've watched the other 2 of this one as well. I just remember this one being the worst. I didn't really love any of these movies, but this one was just kind of. It was the story was getting really, really, really stretched by this point. 293. We have Get Smart with Michael Scott and The Rock. So, yeah, this movie. I love Steve Carell, man. I really do. Anne Hathaway's a pretty good actor too. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Dwayne Johnson and stuff, but I feel like I would like this movie It's just not done well, and I think there's a reason why this one isn't really talked about because it's not that old. I think it's from '08, if I'm not mistaken, but it's honestly just pretty boring. At 292, we have Wayne's World. This is a '80s movie, if I'm not wrong. That's Mike Myers. But yeah, this one it's a little too weird for me. So when something's a little too weird for me, it automatically just becomes really hard to watch. So that's why I ended up so low. 291, Beverly Hills Ninja. Rip Chris Farley. First of all, he could have been one of the biggest Hollywood stars, but he sadly passed. This movie was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. This movie was pretty bad. I don't even remember the ending, to be honest with you. I know I watched it. But yeah, this one was hard to get through, I'm not gonna lie. At 290, we have Brave. I would say Pixar's worst movie. Um it doesn't fit. I don't think Pixar should have done a movie like this. I don't think that they have the writing capabilities. I think they're fantastic writers. I think for this kind of movie though, Pixar isn't the option. They should have done something different. They should have done something different. But you know what? I still appreciate that they tried something new. So I give it a little credit, and I don't think it's absolutely terrible like the previous movies. Now we're starting to get into like bad mid, I would say. All right, 289, Nacho Libre. It is a classic comedy movie, but I did not like it when I watched it. I thought it was bad. So comedy movies, once again, very subjective. Ride Along. This movie I watched about a year ago at one of my buddies' houses, and it's it's an interesting one. You know what though? By the fact that I sat down and finished the movie, it makes me think it was bad mid. It was bad mid. So I think it deserves a spot on the list. 287, Mr. Popper's Penguins, movie I watched as a kid. Um, I did not know Jim Carrey was in this movie, to be honest with you. I thought it was Ian from Alvin and the Chipmunks, which you will see later on the list, by the way. Um, but I don't remember it being terrible, but I never really loved it as a kid, and it's a kid's movie, so can't really rank it much higher than that. 286, we got the Muppets movie from 2011. Yes, we have two Muppets movies on here. This one's lower than the original. Not a lot of reason. It just doesn't have as much charm. And honestly, I didn't hate the movie. It's just not my thing, and that's okay. 285, The Curse of Were Rabbit. I remember as a kid, I did not understand this movie for some reason. It felt weird. It felt uncanny. It felt like I was in a dream, kind of. But after I rewatched it a few years ago, it was better than I remembered. I understood it a little bit more, but I don't think it was good. And I still think that this is where About It should be on the list. This one could be controversial. I'm not really sure. 284, Sister Act. No sex, no booze, no men, no way. That's what they say, I guess. Um, yeah, not a big fan. Another comedy that's low. 283, Monsters vs. Aliens. I believe, I'm pretty sure this is the lowest DreamWorks movie on the list. If I haven't gone through one already, I'm not sure if I have. Oh, no, I think I did, but that's okay. It's one of the lower ones for sure. It's just not memorable characters. Um, Not really great animation. It's pretty generic in my opinion. And I think the story is very generic and it's not fun, it's not creative, but I don't think it's the absolute worst movie. 282. We have Murder Mystery with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston. This movie did what it set out to do, but what it set out to do, in my opinion, is very mediocre. So it did its job, but it wasn't quite exactly what I was looking for, to be honest. But that's okay. I don't hate it. This one, look, let me preface this right now. I love Star Wars. and that's why this isn't lower on the list. I really did not like Rise of Skywalker that much. This one isn't as bad as Rise of Skywalker because it at least has some pretty cool scenes, and some of it is okay. Like some of it's okay. Some of it's okay. But I still think this still goes the same as I think it ruined the previous movies. Not as bad as Rise of Skywalker, but it still did. It ruined Luke Skywalker. But I will say there are other scenes that aren't that bad, and it's a little interesting. I do also know that this movie, by some people, is ranked pretty high. But I don't understand that. I don't see it. I think it's still a pretty bad movie. Just not as bad as Rise of Skywalker. Turbo at 280. This is a movie I loved as a kid. Then I rewatched it. Not great. And let me say this too. Every time I rewatch a movie from when I was a kid, a lot of the times I love it. So it's not like, you know, I'm grown up and it's just bad because it's a kids movie. I still love kids movies, dude. I watch them all the time. This one just was one that didn't age well in my opinion and was pretty bad. I went backwards. Hold on. Okay. Ball, Ball's baby, family business. Oh man, this was a mistake, guys. I meant to put this at 1. That's that's on me. But this one, it's worse than the first one. I don't really have a lot to say about these movies. I think they're kind of slop, so they're pretty mediocre. So that's where it is. 278, Boss Baby right above. I just kept them together. 277, Romeo and Juliet. This is another movie I saw at school. Obviously, after we read Romeo and Juliet. And, it wasn't the worst movie I saw. And in school, that's all you could ask for. So, we'll take that. We'll just take that. All right, The Croods 2. I liked The Croods 1, kind of. It was okay. This one, in my opinion, was a decent amount worse. I don't think I think it had some cool ideas. I like how they tried to, kind of advance the family. I think they moved on, and I think that's good in a sequel. I just thought it got pretty annoying, and I think the characters got a little stale, but that's okay. Frozen 2 at 275. At first, I thought this one was going to be way at the bottom, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? It's really not that terrible. It still has a somewhat, comprehensive story. It has, decent animation, a couple funny scenes, I guess, but, 275. I think that's pretty fair. 274, we got Madagascar. Once again, another movie I loved as a kid. Rewatch, hard to rewatch. Not gonna lie. That's why it's at 274. 273, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. I never know if I'm saying that right, by the way, in the title. I feel like I'm not, but this is the lowest Pirates movie on this list. Um, I also did notice a trend with these movies that the higher or the more sequels they did, the lower usually is on the list for the most part. So kind of just the same trend. Um, I still do think though that this is the worst plot out of the 4 I've watched, and it's not the greatest movie. So that's 273. 272, we got Ants. Ants, I think, deserves a tiny bit more credit than it gets. Because everybody thinks it's a direct copy of A Bug's Life. And you know what? I will say they're pretty similar. They're pretty similar. But I still think this one has its moments, It has its moments. And I know that it's supposed to correlate with a play I read in high school because we watched it in high school. I've seen it like 3 times, I think. Once just by myself, once in high school, and then once just messing around, whatever. But it's supposed to correlate with something. There's a little bit more to the story than it on the surface, so I think it deserves a little bit of credit. Oh God. At 271, we have Top Gun Maverick. This one might be the most controversial one on the list. Maybe, maybe. I have some other not so great ones, I'm pretty sure. You know what? It's my list. I didn't like the movie. I just thought it was bad. I thought it was corny, which isn't always bad. I thought it was a bad corny though. I thought it was hard to watch. I just I really really didn't like it, but I will say I never watched the first one. So maybe if I understood the first one first and then watch this one, maybe I'll like it. I might give it a rewatch. I'm not sure yet though. All right, 270. Despicable Me 2. The second worst Despicable Me movie, I'm pretty sure. Um, no, I'm not pretty. It is the second worst. I think it's just those purple guys in this movie. If anybody's seen it, they're very annoying. Um, I think the villain's okay. Actually, the villain's probably my favorite part. I think it's El Macho or something like that. Um, so that's why it's at 270, a little higher than four because it's better to watch than four for sure. 269, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Um, this one for me lost a lot of. I think this could have been a really good movie, and I honestly remember loving the concept as a kid. I just think that the execution wasn't done as good as it could have been. But I think there's some great scenes in this. It's just I can't put it any higher because honestly, now if I watched it, I wouldn't like it. And this is my all-time ranking. I have to consider, how I feel now about these movies. And this one has definitely lowered a lot over the years. 268, we have Meet the Robinsons. Um, I remember watching this movie. I think I watched this on cable over at my grandmother's house, but it's it's okay. It has an interesting story. I think the animation, I don't like the way it looks, and I am taking that into consideration. It looks very, I don't like when it looks this bland. And I don't know if that's just a problem I have, but I like movies that look a little better. And if they don't, then they'll make up for it some way. Like you'll see later on. Tangled. Um, I mean, it's a princess movie. I don't think it's a big surprise that it's this low. I don't think it's terrible. It's okay. It's got a little Disney to it. Whatever. 267. 266. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Another one I had lower on the list at one point. However, the more I thought about it, I love the fridge scene where he hides in a fridge and gets blown up. I know it doesn't make any sense logically, but still a great scene to me. Um, but yeah, this is the worst Indiana Jones movie. Even though I haven't seen Dial of Destiny, from what I hear, it's better than this. So I'm gonna kind of go with that. I don't have Dial of Destiny on this. I haven't watched it, so okay. At 265, we have Beauty and the Beast, the animated version, not the live action. Um, Classic Disney movie. Still another princess movie, so not gonna be my favorite. That's why it's low on the list. 264, we got Happy Feet. I love how happy this guy is, man. I do think this movie gets a little drawn out, it feels like, but it still does its job. And even though it's at 264, that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. I still think it's decent. Now we're getting into the decent tiers. 263 of Barnyard. Some pretty I remember some pretty funny scenes in this. Um Overall, it's kind of just a fun movie to watch sometimes. 262. Young Frankenstein. This movie is very old. Um One of the oldest movies on the list. I'm pretty sure it's the third oldest movie on the list. The first half, if anybody's seen it, which this one I feel like nobody has, but I don't know. The first half is pretty good. It's pretty good. I would give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Second half, absolutely terrible, but that's okay. First half kind of makes up for it a little bit. That's why it's not at the bottom. All right, we got more movies that I saw in school. VeggieTales, Pirates. Don't got a lot to say about these ones. Don't remember them that much. I remember kind of liking them though, so I gave them a little bump. And I actually do remember some scenes, and they were decently funny. So I'll give it a little credit. Hotel Transylvania 3, very just mid movie. It's just a mid movie. Not a lot to say about it. By this point in the franchise, I thought they were gonna just make one of these movies, bro, but they just kept pumping them out. At 259, here's another controversial one. We have Blade Runner. Um, I could barely get through this movie. It was another movie that I had to like push myself through to get through the end, and that's always a bad sign. However, the reason it's not the lowest or like at the bottom is because I do recognize the fact that it does have creativity in it. It has some, some pretty decently looking scenes, especially for the time. I think it came out in 82, if I'm not mistaken. So, I can't really knock it too much because I don't have a lot to criticize besides the fact that I just didn't enjoy it that much. So that's why it's at 259. 258, Alvin and the Chipmunks. That's my boy right there. Dave, I think that's his name, right? Dave. We got Dave and we got Ian, two of the greatest characters in history. But in all seriousness, um, it's a pretty fun movie. Now, these guys are the most annoying things that you can imagine. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's literally like playing BO6. It feels like, just a lot of squeakers. All right. 257, we have the Muppets movie, the original, the classic. The classic. This is now from 2011. I remember this movie honestly having some charm to it, I didn't hate it. It was for the time, I got to give it a little credit. It wasn't that bad. 256, another Veggie Tale movies. Not a lot to comment on this. Kind of the same way I feel about the other one. Um Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Now, I do know this is considered one of the worst movies of all time. But I don't quite feel the same way. I think the movie's pretty bad, but I enjoy it. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. I kind of enjoy it. I kind of enjoy it. So it's at 255. And I totally understand if you disagree with that. Okay. 254. Robots. Oh god, Ewan McGregor's in this? I didn't even know that. I didn't even look at these names. Oh man. I had some decently sized names in there. I thought this was kind of like a, not so big movie. But I remember renting this one as a DVD when I was a kid. I still did that. I think we were a little late to the whole Netflix thing, but this movie's pretty good. But honestly, I wouldn't want to watch it now. So it's got to be pretty low on the list. 253. Toy Story 4. Now, this is a movie. It looks great. The animation is peak. Like that the cat scene, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, where he's bending in the light and the light's reflecting off his fur. It looks really good. It looks really good. The lighting's great. I love the way that they did things. It looks very good. But this movie should have never been made. This movie should have never been made. They should have kept it at 3. I thought they had a great trilogy with what they had, and I think this kind of undermines that third one a little bit. It takes away some of the weight, and that really sucks. But I do get it. Pixar makes the most money from these movies, so they're just gonna pump them out, and I think they're actually making a 5th one. 252. We have Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the original, not the holiday one. This one's from the 80s, not from 2016 like I think the other one was. Um, this one's a lot funnier in my opinion, a lot more charm, a lot more just kind of, it's kind of it's a fun kids movie. And I got to give it some credit cuz I remember loving this movie as a kid. Not holiday though. Not holiday. Santa Claus 2, a lot better than Santa Claus 3, but still it's a fun family movie. 20 at 250, we have Minions. This one is very annoying to me because they don't meet humans in this movie for the longest time. It's just the Minions for like the first 45 minutes of this movie, and it is difficult to watch. However, there's some kind of cool scenes in there, it's got some things in there. It's got some decent elements to it. So it's not blasphemous. It's just not great. 249, we have Big Hero 6. I like that Disney was trying something new with this one a little bit. I don't think it was great. I think the execution could have been a lot better. I think there's some plot holes in this movie. Um, I watched it on a road trip, actually, on like a 20-hour road trip. I remember watching it on one of those little screens you put on the back head of the seat. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, those things were sweet, man. Um, but yeah, this movie, not the greatest. Mid. 248, Despicable Me 3, another mid movie. Um, I think this one has a better villain than 2 and 4, and it has that 80s guy, with like the Michael Jackson music. I think that's kind of fun. I love Michael Jackson, and yeah, that's just the only reason I really put it any higher. 247, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. This movie, this is another movie for me where the animation knocks it down a little bit. I think it looks cheap. I don't think it looks the absolute worst, but it's not the greatest. It's just okay. It's an okay movie. I like the idea though. Penguins of Madagascar, pretty similar story to what I just said. So pretty much same points. But I did love this movie as a kid. 245, Wreck-It Ralph. This movie, I really enjoyed the story with the glitch. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought they had some good moments in there. I like how it was kind of a twist. Wreck-It Ralph is not too low, Jacob. It is not too low. This is in a perfect spot. It is not. That is a perfect ranking. At least 200. Oh man, we got a lot of movies to go through. 244. Hop. Um, this is one of Illumination's first movies. I think this came out in 2011. This one is kind of fun. I like how he plays the drums. That's pretty cool. I wonder why. Um, but honestly, it's okay. It's another good family movie, I think. I remember my parents were like, well, they probably thought it was ass, but they said that they thought it was okay. So we take that. We take that. All right. National Lampoon's European Vacation. This one is not one this is probably the last one that I watched out of all of these movies. I've only watched 3 of them. I think there's 4 or 5. Whoops. Um, but this one, I think they changed the kids. I didn't really like it that much. I just thought it was weird. I didn't like the way that they had the family thing and everything, but all right, 242. It's a Wonderful Life. This is supposed to be a classic movie, but it's old and that makes it worse. So it's at 242. I don't know, man. It's just hard for me to watch that old of a movie. But I do have Wizard of Oz a lot higher, so I guess that it's not the greatest logic. 241. We got Zootopia. God, I honestly didn't really like this movie when I first watched it as a kid, but it's weird. Like the older I'm getting, it's like it's not really that bad. It's not really that bad. It's okay. And she's not that bad either. um, but yeah. This movie's okay. All right. Shrek the Third. This is my least favorite Shrek movie. I've only watched the trilogy though. I have not watched four. I think they have a five. They might have a five. I don't like the family in this movie. I do have the other two Shrek movies. I'm pretty sure they're both a lot higher, but this one, my least favorite. 239. They do have spin-offs. I have watched Puss in Boots and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Um, but none of the other ones. This is a recent documentary I've watched where they get stuck on a cruise ship and they start pooping everywhere because they don't have anywhere to poop anymore because the toilets don't work. Kind of gross, but it actually was kind of good. So, 239, 238. Igor, this little weird dude. I'm gonna be honest. Um, this movie should probably be lower, but like I said, this is my list. So I enjoy it. I enjoy the movie. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think it's okay. 237. We got Zookeeper. Man, Kevin James has been in a lot of mid movies. I will say that. Um, yeah, this movie, from what I remember, bad acting. Not from Kevin James necessarily, but from the other people. Not great acting. Some kind of, I don't know. It's a little corny. It's a little. It's not great. It's not great. 236. Frozen, higher than Frozen 2. Um, Honestly, as a kid, when I watched this movie, I kind of liked it. I didn't tell anybody that I liked it. I might have told a couple people, my closest friends, but it was a big deal that I liked it and that nobody else really did. Like in terms of, guy friends. But it's not a terrible movie. I'm not a musical fan, but I still got to give some credit where it's due. This is a very popular movie, and there's a reason for that. It's because it's not the worst. 235, we have Puss in Boots. Um, this one is a lot worse than The Last Wish. I think the animation's a little weird too, especially looking at it now. Like, I remember Humpty Dumpty. That just looks wrong, man. That looks wrong. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And best animated film of the year, that's a BS, man. I don't know where they got that from. All right, Super Size Me. Um, I know. I'm pretty sure he faked, or he didn't fake the stats in this movie, but they were showing him progress, and they were saying that his liver was getting worse because of the amount of McDonald's he was eating. But I'm not sure if that's right. I'm not sure if this is this movie. Either way, it doesn't change a whole lot for me. I thought it was still kind of interesting. Just, it was okay. 233. To Kill a Mockingbird. Movie I watched in school. I actually kind of like the story. Just old. 232. We got Zoolander. Kind of funny movie. Enjoyable. But, I got to look at the plot and everything else and some of the acting. And that's 232. I'm going to start busting through these. We got a lot of movies to go. 231. Ant-Man and the Wasp. A lot worse than the first one. I like the first one quite a lot. So it's kind of high up on the list. This one, I don't know. It's just not it. It's not it, man. 2:30, Night at the Museum with Ben Stiller. Um, Classic movie, and it's still a fun watch. It's a fun watch, man. But that doesn't mean it's one of the greatest movies. So, that 2:30. 2:29, Cars 3. I like this one worse, or I like Cars 2 more than this, to be honest. And that might be nostalgia, pilled, but I still think that it's better because I don't like the fact that they had a Toyota Corolla faster than Lightning McQueen in the end. It doesn't make sense. 228, Over the Hedge. This movie had a little bit of character to it. That's why I kind of liked it. Decent movie. 228. 227, Thor: The Dark World. The lowest Thor movie. I think we just have the normal Thor up next, just right after this at 226. But I think Thor Ragnarok's way better. I just think it's not a great. I don't think it's a great movie. 226, Thor. Same reasons. I still kind of like it because I like superhero movies. It's just not. It's not up to par with a lot of the other ones. Iron Man 3. This one heavily disappointed me the first time I saw it. I love 1 and 2. Not 2, not so much, but I really like 1. And I think this movie, especially at the end of it, with that fight scene with all those CGI Iron Man suits and stuff, I think it looked bad. I think it's like slop kind of at the end. But the reason it's still higher up is because I just love, man, I love Robert Downey Jr. in these movies, man. He's just he plays that role so good. So good. And some of the scenes in that evil guy's lair where he's like spying on him and walking around without his suit, it's kind of interesting to see him use his abilities without having to rely on his powers. So I think that's some interesting parts of the movie. 224 got Grown Ups, kind of just a fun comedy. Whatever, they're just messing around. That's 224. 223, The Smurfs. I thought I hated this movie, but I looked back at some of the scenes. I had to do that with some of these movies on here just to kind of refresh my memory. This one is not that bad. And I actually, the more I watched of it, I was like, oh, I kind of remember that. I remember liking that. So, 223, decent movie. 222, Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph Bakes the Internet. I do think this one is better than the original. I think there's just a little bit more. That might be a hot take. I don't know. And to be honest with you, they could probably switch. We could probably switch those places, and I wouldn't mind too much. Remember, take these with a grain of salt. 221, Sing. I watched this movie in theaters. Some of the scenes are kind of cool, especially like when Johnny, the gorilla guy, is like performing a song at the end, and his dad's watching him in the prison. He's like, "That's my son. That's my son." If you guys watch the movie, that's what he does. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of a cute moment. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This one is probably partially based off of nostalgia. It's probably be a lot lower. But you know, I like Johnny Depp. Okay. I like Johnny Depp. And I thought it was okay. I do have Willy Wonka and the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a lot higher though. So, and I thought it was cool how, they gave him a little backstory. I understand it might not be the greatest writing, whatever. I don't care. It's at 220. 219, we got the B movie. Barry Benson in the building. Watched this movie in school a bunch of times, so it kind of ruined it for me, not going to lie. It also is kind of, it's a weird movie, bro. It's a weird movie if you really think about it. I mean, a bee like dating an adult, isn't that what happens? I'm pretty sure. Even if it's not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change my placement. Just thought it was weird. Cat in the Hat live action. Thought some of the scenes in this movie were kind of fun. Overall, it was okay. 217, The Grinch live action. I thought Jim Carrey plays this role very good. The reason it's not higher, I think it didn't age very well. The effects didn't age that well. And I am still taking that into consideration. This is all time. I still will give Jim Carrey a lot of credit for this movie, and he deserves it. And it was fun as a kid. Captain Underpants. Um, honestly, one of the better recently animated movies. I do think that it's not the greatest, and it's pretty fun. Maybe I was too old at that point to watch it, but even then, it's okay. Oops, going down a little bit. All right, 215. Goosebumps with Jack Black, the kid from 13 Reasons Why, and that random girl on the left. Movie is kind of interesting. It's kind of cool how they brought it back, how they brought Goosebumps back after, they had the show in the 90s. If anybody read the books as a kid, those books were pretty cool. Those were some of the only books I read. But overall, it was okay. 214, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Read this book in school, watch a movie in school. Kind of interesting. I don't really mind it, especially for a school movie. So, 214, I think it's a respectable movie. 213, A Christmas Carol. Another one with Jim Carrey. It's a pretty good, reenactment of the original play, because another, school movie that I watched after we read the play. I think they did a good job interpreting that, and I think the animation's pretty good. I'm just not a huge fan of the source material, so I can't put it much higher than this. But you know, is what it is. Dead Man's Chest at 212. I'm pretty sure this is the third one. Some really cool animation, CGI, especially with him, the little tentacle dude. And it's okay. It's okay. 211. The Batman. This is one of my other extremely controversial takes, as I found out. This one, look, I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's the worst Batman movie. I just don't like it, man. I don't know what it is. I watched it. Everybody says they like it. I don't like it. I don't. But I can't put it at the full bottom because I know it's not that bad. But I can't grasp why people love it so much, to be honest. I don't understand. If someone can explain that to me, I might need, a yelling at or something. But no, it's my opinion. So I'm putting this at 211. 210, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Kind of a weird movie, but I thought it was kind of cool. And it came out on my birthday. So that's all I got for that one. The Grinch. This one is just more recent. And the reason it's actually higher than the live action is going to be a kind of a weird point to make. But Tyler, the Creator, had that album for this movie. I'm pretty sure it was for this movie. And I like that album. So, and some of it's in the movie, I think. So, it's pretty much the same thing as the live action, just animated. 2008, Big Daddy with Adam Sandler. I always remember seeing this poster, and I'll be like, man, I need to watch that movie. And then I didn't get around to it for a while until like 2 years ago, I think. And I watched it. It's okay. It's okay. Um, you know, it's a classic. It Chapter 2. I have not seen Chapter 1 though. Let me say that first. I have not seen Chapter 1. This movie, if this was a comedy, peak. Peak. I laughed the whole time. I laughed the entire time. I did watch it. I remember I watched it with a group of like 10 people. And man, I just could not stop laughing. The effects in this movie are not good. But you know what? It's bad. It's so bad that it's good. Like, no joke. Literally, that's how I feel about it. Like, I would be down to watch it because I think it's that funny. And I don't know what it is, man. It might have just hit me at the right time. I just thought it was funny. Hobbit. I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings. I think The Hobbit was kind of a disappointment to Lord of the Rings. So I haven't watched the ones after this one, but I thought the movie was still okay. I thought the acting was okay. It was just an okay movie. Black Panther 205. This one could also be controversial. Don't I think the acting in this movie is good. I think the effects are good for when they show them. I just don't like the fight scenes, man. I don't like him. I don't really like his abilities that much. I don't know what to say, man. I just didn't enjoy it that much compared to the other Marvel movies. I don't think it's bad. It has some good music. Um, I like his design. His design's very cool for like his costume. Things like that are cool. Just some big important things. I don't think they executed perfectly. 204, Spider-Man 3. Um, the worst out of the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. I still think it has some charm to it though, and it still has Tobey Maguire, baby. Um, I thought it was kind of cool with the symbiote suit. I think they just tried to do too much in one movie, and that's why people usually rank it lower. I still have fun watching it though. I still have fun watching it. Back to the Future Part 3. Easily the worst out of the three movies. I love the trilogy. It's one of my favorite trilogies of all time. The third one, though, man, it falls off. Man, it falls off. All right. 202, Pixels. This is with um Adam Sandler and some other people that I forget. But I think Josh Gad. I think he's in that. Um it's okay. When I watched it as a kid, I loved it because I was really into, video games and things like that. So it was like cool to me. But I do think it's really weird how they like make the new games seem like they're terrible and stuff, kind of at the start. I don't know. It's kind of a weird movie. 201, we have Star Wars. I spelled that wrong, whatever. Solo, a Star Wars story. Um this one. It's kind of a fun watch. I just don't think it was necessary to add to Star Wars. I don't think it was necessary. I don't think we needed it. I kind of like the fact that they just had him in A New Hope and he just showed up, but that's okay. I don't think it's terrible. Mr. Deeds at 200. I just put Deeds. um, this one, I think it's a cool story. I do. Um, that's kind of why I like it. I think it's just a cool idea. Sometimes that's all I need to like a movie. And I think, they did an okay job of executing it, so it's an okay movie. Okay. The Secret Life of Pets at 199. Um this movie it's okay. It's not, peak animation or anything, and it's not what it's supposed to be. It does its job. It has some funny moments. I think it's good for kids. I think some adults can find a little bit of enjoyment in there, here and there, but it's okay. The Amazing Spider-Man at 198. Um, this movie is this one's weird. They have some very cool visuals, I will say. They did some cool techniques in this movie in terms of how they treated like CGI and stuff, and I think that's always cool to see. I like Andrew Garfield. I just there's a weird vibe to the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Like there's a weird vibe, and there's not as much charm. I feel like that's what's really missing. 197, The Water Boy with Adam Sandler. Definitely one of Adam Sandler's better movies. Um, I think that it's kind of funny. It hasn't aged the greatest. I will say that it has not aged the greatest, but I still enjoy it for what it is. Classic Adam Sandler movie, whatever. Fantastic Mr. Fox. Another controversial one. This one, from what I understand, is highly appraised or highly praised by a lot of critics. I just didn't enjoy it. And I like the thing is I look at it, I like the animation, I like the story that they tried to tell. I liked a lot of things about the movie, but as a whole, I couldn't, find that magic of film. whatever, however you want to word that. Minions: The Rise of Gru. Yes, this is higher. I don't care. I watched this in theaters with my boys, and I kind of liked it. It was not that bad. It was kind of fun. Cars 2 at 194. This is considered one of Pixar's worst movies. I don't feel the same way necessarily. I don't think it's a great movie. I have a lot of nostalgia towards it, but I think it has, first of all, soundtrack peak, peak, chef's kiss on that one. I mean, just put on. You might think, um, Collision of Worlds, um, and even like Finn McMissile's like little, whatever his theme or whatever. I thought that was good. I do understand that the story doesn't make a lot of sense, but you know what? I loved it as a kid, and if I watched it now, I probably would still kind of enjoy it. So 193, but Open Season. I think this movie's pretty fun. It's a fun family movie. I think they did a good job of getting that vibe. And yeah, there's not a lot I have to say about this one. 192, The Lorax, pretty similar thing. They achieved what they set out to do. Um, you know, it's a pretty good movie. At 191, we have The Game. I really like the idea of this movie. I like how, they have like how they have it set up for the story. I think it's cool. I do think it drags on a little bit though. I do think it drags on a little bit. But still I really like the concept, so I'll give it 191. 190 we have Back in Time. This is a Back to the Future documentary. Not a lot to say about it. Just thought it was cool. 189 we have Men in Black. I think this is a great family movie. We're starting to get into the better movies for sure. I think they achieved what they wanted to. I think it was funny. I have not seen the second or third one though. This is the only one I've seen, and from what I understand, it's the best one. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm probably not gonna watch the other two. I'm just gonna go away thinking that's a good movie. Sonic 2. I think they did a good job with all the Sonic movies that they've done so far, especially after they fixed the animation of the first one. God, that would have been terrible. Pretty fun family movie. Jim Carrey does great. Decent movie. Surfs Up. Now this is my boy. This movie has got some love to it. I love this chicken guy. He's just dude. He's like a stoner basically. Um, and honestly, it's a pretty good kids movie. A Bug's Life. Um, I do like this one a lot more than Ants. It's the original one. It has it's Pixar's first movie, actually. I think the animation still holds up decently well. I think it has kind of a cool story. I like how they really use that um world of like bugs. I think they do a really good job with that. At 185, we have Man of Steel. Um this is Henry Cavill, I think, right? He It's an okay movie. It's an okay Superman movie. I think they could have done a little better, but it does good for what it set out to do, and that's all you could ask for sometimes. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I actually had this one lower than the first one at first, but I changed it later. I like Jamie Foxx in this movie. Um I like Jamie Foxx in this movie. I think he does a good job at acting. I think the effects aren't great on him. I think it looks weird. I think it looks off. But I think Andrew Garfield does better in this movie, and I think it's better than a lot of people say. And I will defend it. Okay. 183. We have Nightmare on Elm Street. We're getting some horror movies in here now. Classic horror movie. Um, I might have. This is the wrong poster. It doesn't matter. But this is supposed to be the 84, I think, was when it came out. Um, but yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, classic horror movie. I think it's a little scary still. It's got some cool scenes in it, cool visuals, especially for the time, good practical effects. 182, we got Planes, very nostalgia based. Love this movie as a kid. Haven't watched it in years, and I kind of don't want to because I feel like it's going to ruin it. But I'm going to keep it here for now. 181, Finding Dory. I think at this point, this is definitely where Pixar saw a decline. I think this is around 2016. This is where they definitely were like starting to put out consistently bad movies. But this movie isn't terrible. I'm just saying I think this is a turning point. This, Cars 2, and Brave kind of are all in like a 8-year gap of kind of, when they were starting to fall off, I think, compared to their like 2000s run where they just went crazy. But yeah, I think this is it's a decent movie, and I thought it was sad how Dory couldn't remember anything, couldn't remember the parents. So, yeah. James and the Giant Peach, movie I watched in school. I think it has cool animation. And I think the story's pretty good. So, decent movie. No complaints, honestly. Moana, I think here's what I think about Moana. I'm not a big musical guy, like I said in the past, but this movie does do a lot of good, I think. I think that the singing scenes that they do have are done well, so I got to give credit there. I think that they got a little interesting story with the characters, and it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I once thought it was. Chicken Run at 178. Kind of a weird movie, but I thought this one was a lot better than that other movie that they did. I can't remember. I think that was I don't know. It was similar to this one. It was same animation style. I like this one a lot better though. Okay, 177. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. I think this is the second one. I've only watched two. I think I've only watched the first and the second one. But cool graphics. Just it's a Transformers movie, It's okay. Ice Age 2, a lot better than 3. This is way higher up on the list because I still think they were doing good at this point. They still had funny scenes. My boy Sid, he had some great moments. He shined. Wizard of Oz at 175. The oldest movie on the list, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, I really don't hate it. Like I would be down to watch it. But I also do have nostalgia for this movie because I did watch it as a kid. So, Inside Out, the first one. I'm pretty sure I have the sequel higher. Uh, you know, I think it's a cool idea for sure with all the characters, the different emotions. Um, this is definitely the best idea Pixar has had in recent times, I would say. And I think they did a pretty good job of executing it. They got the characters, they're very animated, which is great for an animated film. The Titanic, one of the most popular movies of all time, one of the most successful movies of all time. Didn't love it, but I definitely see why it's very popular. Because there's not a lot to complain about. 172. You got Airplane. This is a pretty old. I think this is from 77 or 79 actually. It's a comedy, from the 70s, so it's pretty raunchy. There's probably some racist scenes in there and stuff. But I can't remember it that much. I watched it decently young, and from what I know, it hasn't aged very well. But I remember some of the scenes are really funny, man. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he's flying the pilot, man. That's one of the funniest scenes that I've ever seen. So I have to give it a lot of credit, honestly. 171, Oppenheimer. Another one people are gonna say should be higher. I understood the movie. I watched it intently. I just got bored of it by like 2 hours in. I just did. I mean, I just got bored of it. And I feel like I don't have the worst attention span because I'm able to watch pretty long movies and just be fine and enjoy them. I just did not like this movie for whatever reason. 170. Well, I did like it. I shouldn't say I didn't like it, but I didn't like it as much as other people liked it. That's what I should say. 170. We have The Outsiders. Another movie I watched in school. I don't know. You guys have probably read this and stuff. It's okay. It is what it is. We got, young Tom Cruise, young, uh, what's that guy's name? Ralph Macchio. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I have this one lower than the first. I think this one falls off on the story compared to the first one. I don't think it has as many funny scenes, but I still love the Guardians movies. The first two. I haven't seen the third, but it's still decent. Hotel Transylvania, the first one, the best out of the three, had some character to it. If you notice in these animated ones, especially like Despicable Me and Hotel Transylvania, um, either the first one or the second one are going to be higher up than the later ones, just because it tends to get a lot worse in animation when you have multiple sequels to the same movie. Because I feel like they don't flesh out. There's not enough character there to have like development and flesh them out and really get like a good story. And not that you need a crazy story, but you don't need to make 3 movies about the same group of people. All right, the Angry Birds movie at 167. Um, I think this is a good kids movie. I think they did a good job with it. I think they did a good job adapting Angry Birds. And I like how all all the birds have their own like little things that they could do. I think they used them pretty well, and I think it looks pretty good too. Not a bad movie. Santa Claus, the first one, nostalgic to me. A lot better than the other two, and it's a pretty good movie. Up at 165. I think this movie is overrated. I like the movie. I really do. I love the first the first 45 minutes of this movie are fantastic, and I think everybody can agree upon that. However, I don't really like the villain that much. The villain's not that great. Um, I think it's pretty lazy. I think it's some lazy writing in there, but that's okay. Not a terrible movie by any means. All right, Matrix at 164. Um, Pretty cool movie. I know some people would put it a lot higher, probably, but I think Keanu Reeves does a good job. I'm a pretty big fan of him. I think he's a cool guy. I just didn't love it. So 164, pretty good movie. SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. This is, I will say, it's a bad SpongeBob movie, but I like SpongeBob so much that it was able to still make its way up pretty high on the list because I still love watching this movie. And like, I know it's bad, but I like watching the movie. 162, we got The Croods. I watched this one in theaters. I watched it either on March 22nd or a few days after that. I know it was in March though, because I was actually on vacation and I saw it on vacation in a little like local movie theater. It was actually kind of cool. Um, One of the probably the only movie that I've seen with my entire family. Um, because usually not all of us can agree on one thing to watch, but I think it's a cool movie. I think it's a cool idea, and I think it's kind of funny. The Mighty Ducks, 161, classic sports movie, charming, good. The Force Awakens, the best Disney Star Wars movie. Um, the only good Disney Star Wars movie, I would say. Oh, besides Rogue One, but um, you know, I do love Star Wars, and I don't think this is a bad movie, so it's gonna end up high. I understand if you don't like Star Wars, these movies will probably be very low because, especially when we get to the prequels, the acting isn't very good, and even the originals, the acting isn't very good. And I just I just love Star Wars. There's nothing. There's no. There's not another reason. I love the music. I love the fighting. Whatever. Home Team with Kevin James. I actually thought he did a pretty good job in this movie. I thought it was kind of a fun watch. It wasn't mid, so that's all I could ask for nowadays. Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. This is the first one. I understand it's a bad movie. I understand that there's bad acting, but man, I still have fun watching it. I love watching it. I think it has some cool scenes in it. I have no, especially in like Geonosis or when they fight Count Dooku or when Obi-Wan's fighting Jango Fett. I think it's all good fun. Where's White Chicks? I've never seen that movie. The Hunchback of Notre Dame at 157. Movie I watched as I think I watched this one as a kid. It would be up there. White Chicks. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Pretty cool movie, good animation. I like hand drawn animation. I think it's beautiful. Paddington at 156. Fun movie. Not a lot to say. 155. Ice Age. Top 50. I don't know about that one, Jacob. Ice Age at 155. The best out of the three. Remember the Titans, another classic sports movie. I think Denzel Washington does a great job in his role. Jaws, classic movie. Effects still hold up decently well. I know that when they were filming this movie, some of the actors were legitimately scared because they thought it was a real shark and not like a machine like it actually was, but pretty cool movie. The Jungle Book, classic Disney movie. Love the animation. Good, creative, good story. It's pretty good. Monsters University, kind of the same. Watch it tonight on Netflix. I'll watch White Chicks tonight on Netflix. Monsters University at 151. Um, I don't like this one as much as Monsters Inc., but I still think it has a decent, you know, events, and I think it still does a pretty good job. Matilda at 150. I watched this one when I was a kid. I always thought Danny DeVito plays it great. Kid's a little annoying, not gonna lie. It's just a nostalgic movie to me. It's gonna be high up on the list. 149. The Mario movie. This is a kids movie that I've only seen as an adult, so um I have to give it credit, man. It's really not bad. It's really not bad. I think they did a good job with this. 148, Inside Out 2. Um this is the best recent Pixar movie, I would say. Um I thought it was pretty good. I think they extended the characters well. I think they moved on with the story well, and that's all you could ask in a sequel sometimes. Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. I like this one more than Attack of the Clones. I love the Darth Maul scene with Duel of the Fates. I love, you know, I don't really like I don't like Jar Jar Binks. He's annoying. And I don't really like Jake Lloyd in this movie. However, they should not have been targeted the way that they were, and I'm glad to see that in recent years they started to get some love for their roles because I still think they did what George Lucas wanted. It is not their faults that it turned out the way it did. Um, but yeah, I mean it's an okay movie. It's an okay movie. Okay, at 146 we got Big with Tom Hanks. Um, it's kind of a weird movie because he's like an adult, but he's actually supposed to be a kid, and he gets like in a relationship. A little weird, but I still think it's a really fun movie to watch. Caddyshack. Um, I think this is from 1976, but it's pretty funny. Probably didn't age too well. Not really sure. I just remember being funny. If it didn't age well, then whatever. It's my list. Elf 144, great Christmas movie. Will Ferrell does great. James Cain does great. Um, Dave Filoni, the director of this movie, I think he did a great job really getting the vibe that he wanted. I just said the wrong person. Jon Favreau, not Dave Filoni. God, I was thinking of Star Wars directors in recent times, and they both have directed, I think so. Okay, Incredibles 2. A lot worse than the first one, but I think it's cool how they explored the baby's new powers. I think the villain was a little lazy, so that's why it's lower, but not terrible. 142, we got Despicable Me, the best one out of all of the Minions franchise, whatever you want to call it. I think this one easily has the best story, the best villain, the least annoying minions, because I do think they get more annoying as the years went on because they wanted to sell more toys and stuff, I would assume. But this one, I think it's really cool how it's like a villain is supposed to be the protagonist, and it's fun. It's a good kids movie. Nightmare Before Christmas. I love the animation in this movie. It looks very good. I think Tim Burton did a really great job with this. Um, and honestly, it's really not like a nostalgic movie to me. I just like it for what it already is. Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. This movie is 100% nostalgic to me. I love this movie. Um, they had some cool scenes in it. The animation was not terrible considering what they used. This is the, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is the first movie to use commercial CGI technology instead of having in-house um, CGI computers. They actually use just commercial stuff, and that's why it looks the way it does. But I do think it doesn't look that bad. Wolf of Wall Street at 139. People will probably want this higher. I didn't like it as much. I thought it had some very cool scenes, um, but I think Leonardo played the role good too. I honestly just don't really love a movie where they're just like going crazy the whole time. I wish it chilled out for a little bit longer, but I still think it's a great movie. There's no um other criticisms really. Interstellar. Man, 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 this movie was hard for me to rank. I really love, first of all, the effects, stunning, beautiful. I think they did a great job with those. However, I think for some reason the plot doesn't seem that cohesive to me. It always made me curious why they wouldn't try to find a disease or find a cure to the disease that was killing the planet, but instead they just thought, oh, let's just build this incredibly advanced rocket ship to move to another planet. Seems like it would be a lot easier. I don't know a lot about biology, but it doesn't feel like it makes sense to me. I don't know. 137. Pirates of the Caribbean: A World's End. Another pretty good Pirates movie. Yeah, it's just pretty good. Hotel Transylvania. I had this on here twice. That's a mistake. Happy Gilmore 135. Um, he doesn't play golf. He destroys it. um, it's a good comedy. But some of the scenes haven't aged the greatest. I still think Adam Sandler does a pretty funny job. I wouldn't say good because it's not like great acting or anything. I think he's just funny in it. So he achieved what he wanted to achieve, and I respect him for that. Friday the 13th, um, the highest horror movie, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm not a big horror movie guy either way. Um, classic horror movie. You know, it's pretty good. Kung Fu Panda with Jack Black. Pretty classic kids movie now, I would say. Pretty good. Ant-Man 132, a lot higher than Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think it's a pretty cool story. Um, yeah, I think it's cool with his dad, how he was, building and developing this technology, and then he kind of took over. Thought that was kind of cool. Evan Almighty with Steve Carell, Morgan Freeman, and it also has that. Um, there's some other people that I know, but I need to see like a list. this is a. It's almost like they did Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey, which I never saw. I know that they did that, and then they did this movie with Steve Carell, and they're very similar movies. Um, but this one I thought was pretty good. I thought it was actually pretty good, and it's nostalgic to me, so it's high up on the list. How to Train Your Dragon is at 130. Pretty much the same thing as Kung Fu Panda. Now You See Me, cool story, cool plot, some cool scenes, a lot better from what I understand than the second one. Haven't seen it. The Hangover, another one that I've only seen the first one for. From what I hear, that's good. Classic comedy, pretty funny, kind of a cool story, and yeah, 127. E.T. Came out in '84. Steven Spielberg, one of his classic movies. He's had some really good movies, and I really like these kind of movies. They're just kind of fun. There's not too serious, but they're just serious enough where it's like you're interested in the story, and I think it's cool. Sonic, 1 is at 126. Um, pretty pretty solid movie. I mean, Jim Carrey does his role great. I like this one better than the second because it doesn't have as I don't think it has tails at all, or it has less tails, and I think tails is kind of annoying to me. So I like how it kept it more grounded on this one. Jumanji with Robin Williams, Rip Robin Williams. It's a cool movie. I like how they brought it to life. Um, I think it's cool. I think the effects still hold up pretty well for its time because I'm pretty sure this is '93. But yeah, pretty good movie. The Avengers, the first one, at 124, decent movie. The Founder at 123 with Michael Keaton, Ron Swanson, and God, who's the other guy? I don't know the other guy's name, but decent movie. I like the how it's a true story, kind of loosely based, probably, but it's cool. It's cool to see how McDonald's like got to become a franchise and stuff like that. Spaceballs, hilarious movie. If anybody's seen it, it's great. Sandlot, 121. Another classic movie. You're killing me, Smalls. Um, and there's a lot of oh man, there's so many classic scenes in that movie with especially with like the dog and what were some other things in there too? I can't really think of them right now, but I know that there's a lot of really good scenes. 120, we got Hustle, with Adam Sandler. I think he did a great job in this movie. Um, I didn't think I would put it this high, but I was looking at it. I'm like, I do like it better than these other movies, so I put it that high. 119, we got the OG Transformers, at least the one from 2007. Very cool effects for the time, groundbreaking, I would say. Some decent acting, and yeah, it's pretty good. 118, we got A Christmas Story, classic Christmas movie. I think it's very charming. I think it's fun to watch. I think it still holds up. I don't think that age has affected it. And I think it's a really fun movie. Dumb and Dumber, classic comedy movie. These two in a movie for the whole movie. Telling you, watching that for the first time, it's a watch for sure. It's a watch. I think they played him great though. I'm gonna be honest. I think I like Jeff Daniels better than Jim Carrey in this movie. I think he did a better job. I think he's more funny in this movie. I don't know if that's a hot take, but Avengers: Age of Ultron, like this one a little bit better than the original Avengers. I think the guy that plays Ultron, James Spader, I see it at the top there. Yeah, he did a really good job with that. Um, I don't think it was the greatest Avengers movie. I still think it's pretty good though. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the original. Very good movie, classic movie, nostalgic movie. The reason it's not higher than the other Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies is because it has like that cheese touch scene and that kind of stuff. And when you get older, watching that, it's a little cringy. It's a little corny. So, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Um, I'm pretty sure this is the lowest Tom Holland Spider-Man. I still liked it. I still think it's great. Jake Gyllenhaal did a good job. Iron Man 2. I did like this slightly better than Far From Home, but I think that the villain, the guy who plays the villain, I don't know his name. He does a really good job. Just good acting. This is a movie where it's good acting, but the plot could use a little bit of work. The plot could definitely use a little bit of work. But overall, pretty good. Um Social Network, cool movie, cool, documentation of events that probably happened. Paint with Owen Wilson. Thought this movie was kind of funny just because it's Owen Wilson and he's Bob Ross. I mean, I love Bob Ross. Uh, I think it's kind of I don't know, it's just kind of a cool movie to watch. Emperor's New Groove, cool animated movie at 110. Christopher Robin, Ewan McGregor does a great job in this movie. It's kind of a cool way that they brought Winnie the Pooh to life. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, classic movie from the 80s. Oh my God, there's so many scenes in this movie that get replayed in shows. I mean, it's just iconic. And I think it's honestly a really fun movie to watch, man. And I think it aged really well. Polar Express with Tom Hanks. This one, animation didn't age too well, but I will say I still really like this movie. I still really think that has some love into it. Um, and I love Tom Hanks too. So Mulan at 106. Cool story, cool animation. Love that it's a different vibe. I love that looking at different cultures. Um, and I think it's cool. Rango at 105. Very visually interesting. And also, I think Johnny Depp does a great job playing his character. Hidden Figures, a movie I watched in school. This might be kind of a weird entry, but I really like this movie, and I think it should be that high up. Curse of the Black Pearl at 103. I'm pretty sure this is the highest Pirates movie. The first one I watched, at least. I know that. Um, cool effects, man. I love the music of Pirates of the Caribbean, whatever. I don't know how to say it. Um, but yeah, he's Johnny Depp does a good job in this movie, and the other actors I think do a good job as well. So Home Alone, a classic Home Alone. Just a great Christmas movie, great movie to watch. Dog Days for Diary of a Wimpy Kid, like this one a little better than the first. But then I think we have Roger Rules ahead. I'm not quite sure what number I put it at. But Spider-Man Homecoming. Um, this movie has Michael Keaton. He plays the Vulture guy. I don't really remember his name. It might just be like Vulture or something. I watched this one in theaters as well. Tom Holland's first Spider-Man movie. He was in Civil War a year before this, but this is his first real full movie, and I think he did a good job. Soul, cool movie. Oh, I forgot that this was a recent Pixar movie too. This is one of the better recent Pixar movies for sure. I think it has a lot of cute things. I just didn't really like the cat. That's my one complaint with it. He kind of got annoying to me. Um, Rocky 4, classic American movie, baby. You see him there with his huge flag. I love it. Dodgeball at 97. Oh, God. This is the most serious movie I've ever watched. Um, this is a really funny movie, man. This is my kind of comedy right here. This is what I like. This is my realm of comedy. Good movie. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roger Rules. This is my favorite Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. Probably the best story. Probably the least annoying, especially now. But yeah, very cool movie. Star Wars Return of the Jedi. I originally had this one a lot higher. However, I recently rewatched it, and I will say some of the scenes definitely drag on quite a lot. I still think it's really cool though at the end with Luke and his father. Which side should I choose? The Emperor does a great job. Ian McDermott plays a great Emperor in this movie, and it's pretty cool. Aladdin at 94, great animation, great story, great acting. Not a lot of complaints. National Lampoon's Vacation. This is the original one. I think we still have Christmas left, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Classic movie, man. I mean, I know Chevy Chase. I'm pretty sure he's like a terrible guy, but whatever. Paul Blart Mall Cop 1, way better than the second one. This movie's funny, man. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. The scene where his cousin's in the movie, Kevin James's cousin is in this movie, and he's like He's in a bar and he's singing, man, and it is one of the funniest scenes I have ever seen in my life. Finding Nemo, um, really, really, really impressive movie, but also a good story, and it's a great Pixar movie. Coach Carter at 90. Um, this movie was pretty good. However, the reason it's pretty high up on this list, I love these kind of stories where they kind of like take over the team and build it up and make them better. I think that's really cool to see the progression. And I understand it might not be critically better than a lot of these other movies, but I say that about a lot of these entries. Lincoln at 89, great acting, cool story. Not a lot more to say about that. Wall-E, love the message, save the earth, whatever. Um, I do think that this could be higher if there was a little bit more dialogue at the beginning, because I do think it gets a tiny bit boring at the beginning, but then once they start meeting with the humans and start actually talking, it's a lot easier to watch. Coraline at number 87. Um, very, very cool kids movie that you could still watch when you're older. It's a little creepy, it's a little uncanny, but I think it does a really good job at doing what it set out to do. Moneyball at 86 with Brad Pitt. Cool story. This is about these sports guys watching or like keeping track of all the stats of all these players, and with those stats, that's how they decide how to draft people. But like this is before teams really started to use statistics that vastly. So this is kind of the movie showing how sports got more into statistical, um, like just looking at stats, and that's how you make your decisions. Number 85, Ghostbusters with Bill Murray. Um, that's really the only actor I know in this anymore, to be honest with you. But uh, this is a fun movie, man. I love this movie. Great movie. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? The animation for the time is, ooh, I don't know. It's so impressive that they did this. I'm pretty sure this came out in '89. They mixed live action with 2D animation, and it's like, wow. I think they did a really good job at it, and I still think the story's good. Toy Story 3. Um, all the Toy Story, the original trilogy, I think is a really good set of movies. The Breakfast Club. Some iconic scenes in this. They have the dancing scene. They have the um oh god, what else do they have? Especially like that first scene where they're all sitting together, like meeting each other. It's just a cool scene, cool high school movie. Um, and it still holds up to the test of time. Megamind, great animated movie. Great animated movie. Good animation, good acting, good comedy, good visuals, good story. I mean, it just really, I think this is a fantastic animated movie. Cars, really the same thing. I will say this one's higher, probably just because of nostalgia. Bohemian Rhapsody. Um, this is with, oh God, not sure what that guy's name is, but it's really good. It's really good for sure. It shows, Queen during their beginnings trying to get deals, showing Bohemian Rhapsody to different producers. I think there's some very fun scenes, very cool scenes, epic scenes. It kind of has a little bit of everything. I love it. Doctor Strange is 78. I think Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job acting. And I mean, fantastic acting. Effects are cool. They don't seem rushed. Good movie. Captain America Civil War. I love I love Iron Man and Captain America like having this inner conflict with each other. I think it's very cool. I like how Iron Man like went out to recruit Spider-Man. Things like that make this movie like very cool. Shrek 2 at 76. Oh, I love Shrek 2, man. This is a great movie. This is a great movie. Um, they really outdid themselves with that. 75. South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. A very interesting title, but this is a very funny movie. I love South Park anyway, and I think they did a very good job of making it into a movie. Rocky at number 74, classic American movie. Same things as Rocky, or this is just normal Rocky. I had Rocky 4 earlier, but the Lego movie, um, man, the animation in this movie is unbelievable. I mean, you could literally see the seam on this guy's hair, on Emmett's hair. You could see the seam. That's a Lego. That's plastic. How they made. That's how they made the pieces. I mean, I love just those little details, man. The grain and everything. I think it looks fantastic, and I think the story's really cool too. Star Wars: A New Hope. Um, Same thing. I understand the acting's bad. I still think the effects for the time. Oh my god. Oh my god. And the thing I really like about A New Hope is the feeling of it kind of feels like a rundown universe. It feels futuristic, but it also feels run down. It feels like things are worn out, especially looking at like C3P and R2D2. They're dirty. They got things all over them. Everything just looks dirty, and I love it, man. It feels very grounded. 71, we have Home Alone 2. Um, this movie I think is a little better than Home Alone 1 because it has Donnie Trump in it. The greatest American president, as everybody knows. I do. Um, I think this movie improves after the first one. I think the kid gets a little better at acting, and it's a pretty good movie. Coco at 70. Um, Very good recent Pixar movie. I think it has some of the visuals, man. Just looking at the poster, I mean that scene where they have the bridge where they're actually showing it for the first time and they're like entering the city. I think it's very cool and a great twist villain as well. Shrek, the original, at 69. I didn't even realize I did that. That's beautiful though. That's beautiful. Some great acting, some great animation. The greatest fairy tale never told. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, big Harry Potter fan. We're gonna kind of start running through these again. Groundhog Day, very cool concept. Love the idea. Bill Murray's great. Inception, love the ending with the spin. That's very cool. Leaving off on a hanger at 66. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, like a little better than Part 2. Um, at 65. At this point, the Harry Potter movies start getting a little worse because of how old they are, or yeah, because of how old the actors are. And I also think that there's something about those first movies that have a lot of charm. Captain America: The First Avenger, 64. I really like this movie. I think Captain America's pretty cool in this. I think he does a good job. I just think it's pretty good. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, at 63. Yes, we do have all of the Harry Potter movies in the top 100. I love them. I don't care. Um, this one's pretty cool. I don't love the fighting in this. I will say the one critique, if I have to give about every Harry Potter movie, it's the fight scenes. They could be better. They could be better. Karate Kid at 62. Classic movie. I love it. I love the music. You're the best around. That just great. The acting is actually good. Um, and I'm saying that because I feel like for this kind of movie, generally it's not. But I think he did a pretty good job, Ralph Macchio. The Dark Knight Rises, my least favorite of the Christopher Nolan. I still think it's a great movie. I think it just fell off slightly from The Dark Knight. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Same thing as the Harry Potter as the other ones. Stand By Me. This is an 80s movie of four kids. They go on this like little journey to find I'm pretty sure there's a kid that's like dead or something, and they're trying to find him. And it's very cool. They're just adventuring. They're going. There's this one scene where they're on the railroad tracks, and the train starts coming, and they have to get out of the way. But the kid on the right, he's a little chunky. He can't quite get out of the way in time. It's a whole big thing. I don't know. It's a funny movie. It's a serious movie also, but it's also like just a good story, man. I think it's a great movie. Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, the original classic, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Any of the original three Indiana Jones, I love them. I love them. Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. This is the third Star Wars movie. Um, there's only one more Star Wars movie after this, and then we're done with them. Uh, this is my second favorite one. Man, that end scene, or really that point where Yoda and Emperor Palpatine start fighting, and Anakin and Obi-Wan start fighting. I love it, man. I love that scene, or I love those scenes where they're switching back and forth. The music in those scenes is great. Everything's great. I love it, man. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. A really great recent animated movie, man. The animation, especially when that death guy comes in and goes or whatever it is, and then you see him like come up, and then it all gets red. It's very cool. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Same thing. Office Space, classic comedy movie. Love this. Love the story. I love how this super depressed guy. He's like, I need to get out of here. They figure out a plan to try and get rich and be able to quit their jobs. So they try to steal from the company, and then they end up, getting into all these problems. I think it's very fun. I think it's very fun. Christmas Vacation, the best National Lampoons. Just classic movie. Love it. Love it. Love it. The Terminal at 51. I think Tom Hanks does a great job, man. A great job. I learned from doing this video that I'm a big Tom Hanks fan. Monty Python and the Holy Grail at 50. Um, Man, this movie is hilarious. Hilarious. And it also is very old. I think this is 76, 1976. But man, I can't believe it. When I watched it, it held up to the test of time. It really did. Um, The Last Crusade, just another good Indiana Jones movie. I just love Indiana Jones. I mean, Willy Wonka. I didn't put the Chocolate Factory. That's fine. Um, the classic movie. I've always loved this movie, man. I just love how they're exploring. I tend to also like movies where they're like exploring. That's why I like A New Hope. That's why I like Willy Wonka, and that's why I like Harry Potter, because they all have that vibe, especially in the first ones, like the first Harry Potter and stuff. They're like exploring the castle. He's exploring the factory. They're exploring Star Wars. I just love seeing new worlds. I love seeing the world building. Things like that are very cool to me. Thor Ragnarok, funny movie, great effects, good story. This is a great Marvel movie. Infinity War at 46. Um, this is like an event, and so was Endgame, and I think Endgame's a little higher than this. SpongeBob movie. Ooh, man, this movie, it's a classic. This is a classic movie. I've probably seen this movie 30 times. Ooh, it's funny, man. They just it was a great send off for SpongeBob. I consider this the finale of SpongeBob, and I think Steven Hillenburg did as well. Spider-Man 2, the best Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, just great. Guardians of the Galaxy, love it. Funny, great music, especially in that starting scene where he's dancing around with the rats. Castaway with Tom Hanks. The crazy thing about this movie is that they don't have dialogue for like 45 minutes to like an hour. Basically, no dialogue. Maybe like one or two lines, but there's almost no dialogue, and it still keeps you captivated. Man, that's impressive. Let me say, Half Blood Prince, one of my favorite Harry Potter movies. Um, Pretty cool. I feel like this is one of the underrated ones. I feel like this one should be higher up on people's list, but whatever. The Great Gatsby. Leonardo does great in this. Um, it's just a good movie. Rogue One. This is a great Star Wars movie. This is what Star Wars needed to do more of. Is this scene or is this movie? Um, they did a really good job with this, and I mean, you cannot beat that Darth Vader scene at the end. And that doesn't even make the whole movie for me. If they didn't have that, this would be lower on the list, but it wouldn't be that much lower. It doesn't add It doesn't make the movie for me. Everything else involved in this movie makes the movie. 38, Joker. Great movie. Joaquin Phoenix did great. Too bad the second one was terrible, from what I hear. The Lego Batman movie. This one's higher than the Lego movie. Genuinely, genuinely one of the best Batman movies out there. I can't believe I'm saying it. I saw this in theaters. It's honestly a really, really good movie. Super bad. Very funny movie. It's a classic funny movie, man. Kingpin. This is an older comedy movie. I think this is 97. Um, to some of you guys, you might not like it as much, but I still think that it's very funny. I don't know. I think they did a really good job. I think Woody Harrelson is great in this movie. I think it's kind of a fun story, you know. It's just I love the movie. I love the movie. Across the Spider-Verse at 34. Great animation. Um I watched this a couple months after it released in theaters, and man, I was like, wow, this is just great. Into the Spider-Verse, pretty much the same thing. Honestly, you could switch these two. I love both of them. They're both fantastic movies. Forrest Gump at 32. Run, Forrest, Run. People have been telling me that my whole life. I don't know if they're really making fun of me or. um, but the world will never be the same once you've seen through the eyes of Forrest Gump. So true. So true. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Like I said, I love the earlier Harry Potter movies where they're exploring the castle. I love my boy Dobby in this movie. That's my boy. Harry Potter. Dobby didn't mean to do that. That's a bad Dobby impression, man. That's bad. Avengers Endgame. Um, this movie was even more of an event than Infinity War. I feel wrong putting it any lower. I think the movie is still really good, though. I really do. I think it's really good. I think they have some funny lines in there still. They keep it, pretty lighthearted for the most part. But when it comes to those serious moments, especially with like Iron Man, I think they did a really good job of captivating it and making it, you know, have some weight to it. Have some weight to it. 29, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Great Indiana Jones movie where they're introducing the world. I just love this movie, man. It's just great. Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, I'm pretty sure, is all in the top 30 because I think that trilogy, I think that they're all very similar in quality. They all have effects that held up extremely well. They all have great acting. They all have great stories. I mean, there's a reason why there's, three of them. Spider-Man and No Way Home. Or Spider-Man No Way Home. Um, this movie I also saw in theaters with my family. And I loved that they brought back Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. I think everybody feels that way, or most people do. And I remember this was a big deal that they brought everybody back, and I think they did it well. I really do. I think they did it well. Jurassic Park. I love this movie, especially because of the music and things like that. And another movie, man, I'm telling you, it's a theme where they're world building, and it feels like you're actually in that world. I love how they did this movie. I think they did a really great job. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This is where they're really exploring the castle. That's why it's higher at 25. Napoleon Dynamite at 24. Classic comedy movie. You guys are probably more familiar with this one because it's very popular on the internet. It was a cult classic for a while, but I feel like in more recent years it's been more picked up and more popular. The dance scene at the end, classic. Rounders, love poker. That's why it's high up. Not going to lie. The Godfather Part 2. This one's lower than The Godfather Part 1. I haven't seen Part 3 yet, but Al Pacino does a really good job. I just like Part 1 better. I don't really have a lot of reasons. They're both great movies. And honestly, anything in this top 50 list, I would rate a 10 out of 10. So, really, they could be switched. Batman Begins at 21. Um, this movie this is very underrated in my opinion. I love Liam Neeson's in this one, right? Yes, he is. Okay, good. I was making sure I was thinking of the right one. Been thinking of a lot of movies the past couple days. Um, Liam Neeson did a pretty good job in this. Not a pretty good job. He did a great job. What am I talking about, dude? He did a great job. Christian Bale did a great job. Michael Caine, obviously. I mean, some great actors, and not only that, but a great story and great directing. Step Brothers at 20, hilarious movie. Hilarious movie. I'm going to put your balls on my drum set or on your drum set. Damn it, I messed it up, but that's okay. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's a great movie. If you guys haven't seen it, then you have to watch it. Toy Story. Slightly different vibe than Step Brothers. I love this movie, man. I think they did a great job. I think the reason that I don't think that this animation is bad is because they did a great way of hiding it, and that was using toys as their main plot point. If they didn't do that, the movie would look bad. Because since they made everything made out of plastic already, it looks perfectly normal. No questions asked. I think it holds up pretty well. Return of the King, same reason for Lord of the Rings. The Godfather, like this one a little bit more. They're great movies. Good Will Hunting. I really like the vibe of this movie, man. I love the vibe that it has. I don't know how to describe it, but just I feel like I'm really in depth with Matt Damon in this movie. And I mean, Robin Williams does great. He's always been good at those serious roles too, though, when it came time to it. Ford v Ferrari, another Matt Damon movie. Um, this movie is very cool. I think it's very sad at the end when well, I don't want to spoil it, but you know, sad things happen, man. Sad things happen. Monsters Inc. at 14, classic Pixar movie. God, this movie has such a great vibe to it. I feel like I'm a monster myself. I don't know. I don't know how to describe some of these movies. I just know that I really like them. Back to the Future Part 2. Very cool how they're going to the future. And yeah, it's just like I said, I love the Back to the Future movies, man. The Dark Knight at 12. Man, I just everybody knows this movie's great. Everybody knows it. It's just Heath Ledger does a great job. Christian Bale obviously does a great job. It's just we all know it's good. Ratatouille, in my opinion, legitimately a cinematic masterpiece. I don't care if it's a kids movie, man. I'll watch it any time of the day. We got a little. I don't care if the rat is controlling the human. It's still, it's still great, man. It's still great. At number 10, we have Empire Strikes Back, the best Star Wars movie easily. I just watched all the Star Wars movies again, by the way, before this. Easily the best acting out of all of them. Not even close. Not even close, in my opinion. Obviously, Vader's Luke's dad in this. I mean, there's some classic moments. Yoda's introduced. Boba Fett, I'm pretty sure he's introduced in this one, or he might be in 4. He might be introduced in 4. I can't quite remember, but man, classic moments. Iron Man 1, love, love, love this movie. I love watching him make the suit. That's one of the coolest things to me. That's actually what I really like about all the Marvel movies that have Iron Man in it is his progression of the suit over time. It's very cool to see him get like little upgrades for it, change the little features on it. It's very cool. The Incredibles at number 8. I understand that some of these are kids movies. This movie has a fantastic story. It's a great family story. They have unique ability. Well, some of them have unique abilities, and I think it's very cool to watch. The Truman Show. Man, man, man. I think about this show. This show makes me think in like a different way. This makes me think about life, man. When I watch this, I'm like, everybody after they watch this, they check to make sure they're not in a Truman Show. They like check the sky, make sure that they're not like panels up there and stuff. Very cool movie. Fellowship of the Ring, first Lord of the Rings. Exploring the world, like I said, it's a theme. Toy Story 2, better than the first one because the villain's better, I think, in my opinion. They introduced Jesse, a very classic character, and God, what's the horse's name? Bullseye. That's it. Race like the wind, Bullseye. The Django Unchained. Oh my God. Let me tell you, when I watched this movie, loved it. Um, Whoever, I think this is Christoph Waltz. I'm not sure though. The guy on the right, he's a dentist in this movie. If you guys have seen it, man, I loved the way that he like would trick the other people into getting like slaves and taking them off their hands and like freeing them. Like he was such a good person in this movie, especially compared to the other people, especially compared to Leonardo. He was actually like trying to help, and I thought he was a really good guy, and I was really sad when he died. I cry. I didn't cry, but I didn't I thought it was sad. All right, Whiplash at number 3. I have a very good reason for this. I play the drums, so I'm very passionate about it, and this movie is just very cool. And I do understand that jazz drumming in New York is not the way it's portrayed in this movie. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't ruin it for me. I love it. The movie's great. J.K. Simmons, oh my God. Fantastic role. Oh, he blows it out of the water, man. Back to the Future at number 2. One of my just this has always been a top 3 movie for me, even for years and years and years. And every time I rewatch it, my stance doesn't change. It doesn't change. I'm telling you, when you see this baby hit 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. That's what happens. Okay? It's a great movie. And at number 1, the greatest movie of all time, in my opinion, Shawshank Redemption. Man, I don't even know where to start on this movie. The thing that's crazy to me is that I only watched this movie about 3 years ago. But let me tell you, man, this movie not only has some of the best acting I've seen, it also has one of the greatest but pretty simple story. The story's pretty simple as if you look at it on surface value, but I love the execution. Could not be better. And I will defend this movie with my life for the rest of my life. I love it. I loved it when I watched it. I loved it when I rewatched it. I just love the buildup of him, slowly being able to escape. And then, just that final scene where they're going out on the beach and they get that ending. It's great, man. It's great. But that is my top movies of all time, I guess. That's my top 10. That's my favorite movie. Um, yeah, that's my ranking for every single movie I've ever watched. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't. Follow my Twitch if you haven't. Matt Jives. And I'll see you guys in the next one.